Today we will talk about the human resource management, and it is one of the most significant domain where either it is CEO or any other top level managers, top level management, they all are very much concerned. Specifically, the CHRO, Chief Human Resource Manager, that is related to how my employees should be, right? What kind of skills or capabilities do they have? If I am going for recruitment, so what kind of skill set or what kind of capabilities I am looking for? Do I meet the given criteria that is already pre-decided, or it is the conceived notions that is already being said by the top level, that is related to the requirement? If we need employer related to finance domain, so in particular in finance domain, uh, the candidate must be having or holding some of the significant skill set related to the finance. So all these are the things that we will discuss today, and specifically, more or less, a few of the, if we talk about the nature of the topic that is assigned to me, so it is the human resource management. So it is not the only thing that is recruitment we will talk about, but apart from, if time permits, we will talk about compensations, how we design the salary, what are the things that we should focus on being a startup, because it is not the only thing that is it is not the only pay that leads to motivations. And as per according to the Hertzberg factor, two factor theory, that is having some kind of significant implications on all these things. And then we, if time permits, we will talk about some of the portions of training and development as well. And apart from all these things, we even we have the significant role of artificial intelligence in all the processes of human resource management. So how even AI is having impact on all the HR processes, irrespective of the nature of the firm. If we refer to the any of the startups, specifically irrespective of the nature of the startups, nature and size of the startups, so we have, first of all, we have the ideas. Ideas means the core ideas on which the startups or the organizations is going to be work. And the second is the product, right? And the third is the team. And the fourth one is the executions. So if we talk about, out of four all these topics today, we will talk about the team. So team is nothing but it is the thing that is related to the human resource management. So team means the employees, those who are going to work for you, and specifically the individual employees and the group of employees, those who are working under your control or those who are working for you, will be the part of the team. So even if you refer to the any of the organizations, so we have three different labels. So first one is the individual label. It means individual employees, any of the individual employees, those who he or she is the part of the organizations or the firm, either it is a startup or small medium enterprises. The second is the group level. So group level means group of people coming together, to those who are coming together for the purpose of working on a particular theme. And the third one is the organization itself, organization as a whole. So three different themes are there in any of the startups or in any of the medium-sized enterprises or large-sized enterprises. So referring to the team, already I said it is related to the human resource management, and it includes individual employees as well, or the group of employees. Moving ahead, if we refer to the team, so every organizations have some of the questions related to who are the key employees at your company and how will they be structured? What are the core values of your company? So who are the key employees? Who are the persons those who are holding the significant positions in your organizations, and how they will be structured? Specifically, what are the organizational hierarchies, right? So this is the thing that is very much important and significant for any of the organizations. What are the core values of your company? What are the things that you have written as a part of the mission and vision? Because all those things are coming from the, specifically the values should be driven from the, or driven by the mission and vision of the organization, mission and vision statement of the organizations. So this is the thing, but rather than going to the mission and vision or values, core values of your company, we will talk about the key employees. So who all are the key employees? That is very much important for the organizations. And at your company, how they will be structured. So what are the hierarchies? So what are the hierarchies means, who is heading the department or who is leading the organizations. So every organizations have different perspective or different hierarchical structures, so it depends on the nature and size of the organizations as well. Moving ahead, if we talk about so if we require this particular going to the second slide, if we talk about this particular who are the key employees, so that all those key employees must be requiring, in order to hold the positions, all these employees must be requiring some of the skills and capabilities, right? So the question is, what skills and capabilities do chro is the chief human resource officers and their teams needs to succeed. So if you want to have CHRO, so specifically you must have to have some of the eligibility criteria. Who are the key employees? So the answer is, I'm starting from the top level. So it is the chief human resource officer in the HR domain. So if we want to have the CHRO, so what kind of skills and capabilities this particular CHRO people or the person, those who are holding this key position, will be requiring? So this is the most important thing, because we are talking about the human resource management for the in startups. So in startups we have different limitations, we have different dynamics. So in order to manage all those resources in a particular way, we must have to focus on each, we must have to focus on all these things. That's like we have the skills and capabilities of each and every employee, rather than focusing on the only focusing on the skills and capabilities of the chief human resource officers. So it is not the only skills and capabilities that matters at most for the CHRO, but it is applicable across the hierarchies or across the levels within the organizations, right? So referring to all these things, I am coming to some other questions. What are your internal marketing sales structure? If you are, if you are the startups and you are developing some kind of products, so you need some of the sales people, those who are going to do the sales of your product. So in order to have that particular sales team, who will be in charge of the marketing and sales team, who is going to head the team, right? How will you ensure the two teams work together rather than against each other? So even all these are the things that is coming under the heading so called skills and capabilities. Which distribution channel and responsibilities will fall under which teams? So many times if we refer to the dynamics of any of the organizations, so many teams, if two of the teams are working together, so they most of the time, or it is the general thing, we can say in general ways, they are having some kind of differences. So rather than working on in that particular directions, we should work together, and we should work together for achieving the common goal. So even during the time of recruitment, all these things are the things that the recruiter, as a hr recruiter, we must be very much concerned, and we must assess all these capabilities, all these skills during that process of recruitment as well. So who is who is going to head the organizations, and who is going to head any of the department, either it is a marketing and sales, or either it is a HR department, or either it is a finance department. This is the most important point that every CEO, specifically the CEO or the owner of the organizations, are very much concerned about, right? So in order to have this particular thing in mind, some of the specific questions we must have to answer while going for the recruitment and selection process. So what skills and capabilities should we build to buy to we skills and capabilities should we build, buy, or borrow? So in terms of talent management, this particular terminology is build, buy, and borrow. Even it is being having the talent on rent as well. Borrow means if the things that is coming with the collaborations, right? Many of the times we used to have collaborations with different organizations, and we are having exchange of talent or exchange of skills. So many times we are transferring our talent to some other organizations, and some other organizations skills or capabilities or the people are coming to our organizations. So this is the meaning of borrow. Buy means we are doing the recruitment, right? Or building means we are inculcating training, imparting training. So what skills and capabilities should we build or buy and borrow? So all these things are very important for initial success of the organizations. So what talent segment will be the hardest to attract and retain? So all these are the even what talent segment, specifically talent segment means they are talking about the age brackets and the specializations and the eligibility criteria, specifically the educational qualifications, right? So this is the thing that is very much concerned. And is our organizational design helping or hindering our goals? So if we are looking ahead with or going for all these kind of processes in our organizations, so do this particular organizational design have any kind of implications on all the processes of developing capabilities or building capabilities or buying capabilities or borrowing capabilities, or having some kind or having the segmentation process of the talent is this particular having any kind of impact? So if organizational design is having any kind of impact on all the above said processes, so in that case we must have to recheck this particular organizational design and structure. It is coming under the heading so-called change management, organizational design and structure. So we must have to rework on all these things, and then we have to go ahead with further processes. So what leadership mindset and behavior must be fostered? So specifically this particular line is talking about the talent pipeline or bench strength. So what kind of training and development programs should be organized, or what kind of training should be imparted to the employees, so that our leadership bench should be strengthened, right? Or future employees should be, or future skill set should be built up among the employees. So this is the most important thing. What culture and ways of working must we co-create, and how we how have executive vice president expectations changed? Specifically, what culture and ways of working must we co-create? So specifically this particular coming from the culture, culture is coming from the work processes, the values that we are developing over the years. And ways of working must we co-create means what are the terms and conditions, what are the rules and regulations that we are formulating for the future workforce. So all these are the things that we must keep in mind before we go for recruitment and selection process, or we if we want to succeed in any of the area as organizations. So how have EVP expectations changed? So if we talk about the expectations, so it is it is changing over the years, as per according to the nature of the demand and nature of the processes. It is changing over the years, and we are trying to meet all those criteria as we are trying to meet all those criteria as per according to the requirement. So if we talk about the different things that I said, so in organizations we have the team, and this particular team is nothing but the individual employees and the group of people and organization as a whole. And this particular team will be requiring some kind of skills and capabilities if we are going for recruitment and selection processes. So in that processes we will be looking for some specific skills and some specific capabilities within the individual employees, and those particular skills and capabilities will be having some impact, direct or indirect impact, on organizational success. So referring to, I quoted one of the example related to the sales and marketing. Even we can take any of the example related to the finance or HR or operations management. So this particular thing is very much applicable for every organization. So who will be in charge of the marketing and sales team? So that particular thing should be very decided at first, and then only we should go ahead with the whole processes of marketing and sales, because we are very new in the market and we require some specific people, or we require somebody those who are very much responsive in nature as well, right? So moving ahead, and this particular some of the said questions should be answered before we proceed for recruitment and selection process. Coming to some other point. So if we talk about some of the future workforce planning every organizations are doing, irrespective of the size, structure and size. So better workforce planning is not an option in future job market. It will be a given. These are just some of the questions that employer will need to be asking themselves. So specifically the founders, the startup founders must answer all these questions. So what is the current profile of our workforce, right? So demographic profile, it is the segmentations that we are doing as a HR people. Do we hold the right data? And if we are showcasing our data, specifically the workforce profile, so what are the authenticity of the said data or said points? So this is the thing that should be very much clear. What succession plan are in place? So specifically the replacement chart, if you refer to the medium sized enterprises, so they have the replacement chart. Replacement chart means who is going to replace whom. So even in startups, many of the startups are there, those who are having this kind of succession planning. So if somebody is going to leave the organization, so who is going to replace him or her? So this kind of charts are there always. It is being referred as a replacement chart or succession planning, right? And what are the current employee skill set and where are the gaps? So in the change of time, the things are keep changing very fastly. So in that particular processes, we must have to update ourselves in terms of the skill set and capabilities, and we must have to identify, that is the part of the training need analysis, where the gaps are, right? Where are the gaps, or where the gaps are in terms of the skill set and the capabilities. So this should be done within the heading so-called training need analysis. Even it is being done within the heading or domain so-called performance appraisal. If we will discuss in detail about all those things. And are there any regulatory changes that we need to factor in? So regulatory changes means, if we talk about the Indian government or the Indian context, so we have two different contexts. First one is the central context, and the second one is the state government context. So at every level, we have the Ministry of Labor Welfare. That is, if as an industry, if you want to if you want to uh, uh, if you want to process your business, or if you want to establish your business, so you must have to abide by the terms and conditions laid down by the state government and the central government. We can take some of the examples, just like uh, Maruti Suzuki. They given this particular informations regarding starting the new plant nearby to Sonipat. So we can the state government given some of the terms and conditions. If you want to operate, or if you want to start a second plant nearby to in our state, so in that case you must have to follow certain terms and conditions. And out of all those terms and conditions, the first terms and condition was related to having the 50% basic salary of the employees, and around 50 to 70 60 to 70% employees should be recruited from the parent estate itself. So these particular regulatory changes have to kept in mind wherever, whenever, and wherever we are operating. So all these are the regulatory changes at central level. If we talk about the regulatory changes, so recent advancement in terms of the labor code 2020 or 2020 is being implemented for betterment of the workforce, specifically the blue collar employees. What technological changes might have impacted? So technological changes that have impacted at most is the artificial intelligence. We all must be aware with the way technology, specifically the artificial intelligence, is impacting the workplace, or the nature of the business or the processes of business is quite uh, uh, it is quite very significant, and we may very impressive in nature. uh, so other technologies are there, automations, just because of automations, because of the artificial intelligence, automation is there. And it is the even if we talk about the previous in previous decades, so it is the computer system that impacted the workplace, specifically the implementation of computer system at the workplace, so even that have significant impact. So what are our current pay levels? How do they compare with the market? So it is not the only pay label, but other things are there in place. I have written few of the things related to it in my other slide as well. So uh, the employees are not very much concerned about the pay, but rest of the factors are there that is having significant impact on the employee life. So we will talk about that, all those factors that is having some kind of impact in their life as well, and how it is impacting or changing the overall dynamics of the employees or the organizations, right? So even it has some kind of impact on overall dynamics. So how do they compare with the markets? So comparing is something that is related to the benchmarking. So benchmarking means if we are working in the manufacturing sector, so how other organizations are doing or paying that the salary, the amount of salary to the employees, those who are working at the working in the similar nature of working in the similar profile, right? So all these are the things that is having some impact. And always if being a CEO, chief executive officers, or the owner of the startup or the uh, micro enterprises, we must have to keep in mind all these things. And specifically the thing that is very significant is the current profile of our workforce, how they are, how we are having, what kind of workforce do we have, and what are their profiles, and what are their eligibility criteria, what are their qualification standard, what are their years of experience, what are their cultural background. So all these are the things that is very much important, right? So any questions so far? Any question?
Participants, if you have any questions, please you can ask.
If I am fast, please let me know. I will slow down my pace as well.
So it's fine. You can continue, sir. The speed
Okay.
is fine, sir.
Okay.
Hello. Ma'am. Yeah, sorry.
So I said, if you have any questions, so if participants are having any questions, so even I will be more than happy to answer all those queries for the slide that we discussed right now.
Any questions if
And
audience
even
has?
if my pace is fast, so even I will be
Yes, sir,
slowing down.
if you
Okay.
can just slow down a little bit, so it will be easier because on the online mode now, usually what happens is if we go too fast, it becomes a bit difficult to grasp the things. There is technical issues as well.
Okay.
Otherwise, it is.
So these are the basic things. Okay. No issues. I will slow down my pace, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, future workforce planning, asking the right questions. So, it is one of the most significant thing that we must have to kept in mind before we proceed for any of the things, and or being a owner of the organization. So, referring to few other things, even it is related to the recruitment. Related to the recruitment means I took it from one of the research report of Gartner published in 2024 itself. I guess it is published in September 2024. So labor market shift put pressure on talent strategies. So if we refer to the this particular question or this particular questions, what skills and capabilities should we build or buy or borrow? Or even if we talk about what is the current profile of our workforce, do we hold the right data? Or if we talk about what skills and capabilities do CHRO and their teams need to succeed. So this particular all these questions are completely dependent on the kind of specifically the kind of supply or the kind of labor available in the market. So uh, labor market shifts put pressure on the talent strategies. So if we talk about the three drivers of declining ability of critical talent means specifically the people, those who are holding some of the significant positions within the organizations, or the the skill set that is very difficult to attain or that is very difficult to achieve, even it is the part of the critical talent definitions. So if we talk about the three different drivers declining ability of critical talent, so the first one is the labor shortage. So labor shortage means globally more than 85 million jobs are projected to go unfilled by 2030. So why this particular condition is applicable over this in this particular in the labor market? So this is the thing that is very much uh, uh, difficult to, we can say this is the question that is very difficult to answer. So it specifically the things are dependent on situations to situations, from context to context. So many times we have the talent, but they are not meeting our criteria. Many times they are meeting the criteria, but they are different. They are very different with respect to the culture. So it is quite difficult to get each and everything in place and make the final decisions. So labor shortage, we are not concerned about the number of people those who are applying for the job, but we are very much concerned about the skill set. All these people those who are applying for the job are they are possessive, they possesses, right? So this is the thing. And the second one is the mismatched skills. 23% of global jobs will change in the next 5 years due to industry transformation, including the AI. So first one is the globally more than 85% jobs are projected to go unfilled by 2030 because we are not getting the right talent. Second one is the 23% of global jobs will change in the next 5 years due to industry transformation, including the AI. So if we talk about in many cases, meeting the right people is quite difficult, or matching the skill set with the right job is even difficult for any of the industries. So many times what we are doing, if we refer to the being a faculty or being a people in academia, so we may just visualize this particular thing. So many times what organizations are doing is or what the candidates, those who are appearing for the placement or those who are applying for the job, just for the sake of getting the job, they are applying in different domain as well. And many of the times what organizations are doing is, so even organizations are doing is they are recruiting candidates, those even though those who don't match the specific criteria as well. Even they are recruiting the candidate because they are readily available and they are available on low pay and packages. So at that point of time, if we talk about, if somebody is readily available and they are not matching with the criteria laid down by the organization, so in that case it will be quite difficult for the organizations to justify the things in future period of time. Even in case of any in case of any errors or any mishappenings, so no one is going to take the responsibilities for the said thing. So even mismatched skill set are having that kind of consequences as well. It is not the only thing that is related to the output, but other things are there in place, and all those are having some significant consequences on the organizations. So employee expectations, so 62% of candidates say they only apply for job that meet the majority of their EVP requirement, right? Employee value propositions requirement. So specifically uh, if you talk about this particular employee expectations, so many times they are expecting better work conditions, they are expecting better career opportunities, they are expecting some better decision making facilities, they are expecting some participation facilities, even they are expecting some work life balance facilities. So different perspective or different expectations are there from the workforce, and meeting each and every employee's expectation is quite difficult. Even it is quite difficult for the organizations as well. So if you talk about if we refer to the different what we may refer different employees, so different what we may refer it as a different agencies, different uh, we may refer it as a, just like we have the McKinsey or Gartner, or we have the A1, and even we have the BCG. So they are giving some different uh, consulting reports. So many times what they are doing, what they are reporting is employees are very much concerned about the career opportunities. Employees are very much concerned about the employee well-being. Employees are very much concerned about the supervisor under which he is supposed to work. So all these are the different criterias. So it is all these things are coming from the different survey that is being conducted by either by the McKinsey or KPMG or BCG or Avon or Gartner. So all these are the reports, all these are the consulting firms, those who are revealing the employee expectations from time to time, right? So in second points, I have not said about the AI. So even AI is there. There is a huge demand of AI, and even because of the implementation of AI within the organizations, uh, the things are changing at fast rate. And we may refer this particular AI is going to, we have the preconceived notions, even it is going to replace in many sectors. AI is going to replace the human beings, and we will not be requiring human beings to work for that particular sectors, and it will be the only AI if it will be implemented for that particular sector, so the things will be done by the AI itself. So uh, even in many cases, so what we may refer it as a AI, the people, those who are working for the organizations, they don't have that kind of skill set. They don't are they all are not well versed with the AI, the way they should work, the way they should code, or the way they should implement the code. So all these are the things that is very much required. And moving ahead, uh, we have, so the future of jobs, what this means for the recruitment. So this is the thing, how it will be linked with the recruitment. So in that case, some reflections on how the startups can maintain and enhance its role within the fast changing world of work. These are the four characteristics already being displayed by many recruitment businesses, and which the industries can build on to thrive in fast changing employment landscapes. So if we talk about the some reflections on how startups can maintain and enhance its role within the fast changing world of work, so we have four different perspectives. So first one is the looking ahead. So nurturing a future focused mindset. Nurturing a future focused mindset means the way we are imparting training to our current strength of the current employees, right? We are, how do we strengthen our bench? So this is the point. Nurturing future focused mindset means if we are living in the age of AI, so we must have to impart training related to AI among the employees. We must have to sensitize our employees related to the AI. If we are very much concerned about the well-being, we must have to impart training related to the well-being to among the employees. If we are very much concerned about the diversity, so if we are concerned about the diversity, we must have to sensitize what does diversity means and how it is important or significant for the organizations. So all these are the things that is related to the nurturing future focused mindset. If AI is going to rule over the years in the coming decade, so in that case, we must have to inculcate AI based training, or you must have to impart AI based training to the employees. So this is the thing. Look out, delivering new services and foreign forging a new identity. So if we are dealing with some of the products that is very conventional in nature, so in that case we must have to improvise all the we must have to improvise the nature of the product, or we must have to improvise the way we are selling the product, or we must have to improvise the way we are transferring the or developing the product. So in that case, delivering new services and forging new identity, it is very much essential for any of the firm, irrespective of the size of the business. And looking in building future skills and leadership to take the industry forward, of course leadership bench should be strengthened. Every organizations are working in this particular area, looking to make a difference, becoming future of job ambassadors. So of course your policies, your practices, organizational practices, or the organizational policies, your other policies should be designed in such a way so that it could be attracting to the future talents, right? So this is the point, looking to make a difference. So moving ahead, if we talk about the this particular recruitment 2025, it is the extension of the things that I explained in previous slide. Looking ahead, nurturing a future focused mindset, preempting future skills need and job market changes. Already I said about imparting training related to the said areas. driving innovation in recruitment. So if we talk about driving innovation in recruitment, many times we are talking about the different AI tools that is being that is being uh, uh, that is being uh, adopted in recruitment and selections process. Different AI tools are there, and all those AI tools are having significant impact in on the whole processes of recruitment and selections. Harnessing new technology, of course, it is the thing that should be accepted wholeheartedly. So next one is the looking at delivering new service and forging a new identity. Take a lead on a strategic workforce planning, building a new relationship based on value and customer service excellence, making change happen on inclusion. So already I said about diversities. We should very much concerned about the customer loyalty, customer service excellence. We should very much concerned about the loyalty program as well. Taking a lead on a strategic workforce planning. So we must have to very much concerned about how do we strategically plan our workforce, how do we have our better workforce in the years to come or in the time to come. So looking in building and building future skills and leadership to take the industry forward. So building a new generation of industry leaders, reviewing the over evolving role of recruiters, investing in future skills of the recruiters. So of course we must have to invest our time and the money on developing all these future skills. And we must be concerned about deciding the talent, specifically the skills that we should have during the recruitment and selection process. Even we must have to impart training to our recruiter as well. That is very much significant and important. If they will not be updated, if they will not be uh, if they will not be aware about the things that is going on in the market, so it will be quite difficult to do the processes of recruitment selections as well. Looking to make a difference, becoming future of job ambassadors, so building the bridge between education and work. Of course in industry and academia interactions is very much required, what industries is looking for. So it should be fulfilled by the educations or academia. So building a voice for change on employment and labor market policies. Of course, time to time we must have to regulate the policies at said by the state government or the central government, prompting the good recruitment messages. So of course some images, specifically the employer brand image is there. The concept of employer brand image will be applicable over here. So we must have to design our policies, practices. We must have to design our compensations. We must have to design our policies related to the recruitment and selections, or related to the offering the career opportunities in such a way so that it can be very attractive to the prospective, to the prospects, right? Moving ahead. So future focused practical steps recruiters are taking different. If we talk about how they are thinking for having the better talent within the organization. So building internal project team to scope potential development. So many times what the established organizations are doing is they are having some of the project team, and for that particular projects they are imparting training. Specifically some of the project based training is required to work for any of the particular project. And if they are doing for that particular project, so it means they are developing some specific skill set among the employees. And ultimately they are developing or building some internal talent or strengthening the internal bench strength. Hosting future of jobs event for the clients, and tapping into the workforce of work of trade association or preempt development in specific sectors. Some of the things are there. Reviewing regional industry strategies plan or preempt where future jobs are most likely to be created. So all these review policies are being implemented from time to time so that they can create the future job, and they can be the market for potential candidates. Four steps to successful hiring. So ultimately, after all these things, how it should be there in the recruitment and selection process, how the organization should work. So ultimately we have to move ahead with the hiring processes. So Of course, already I said, if you talk, if we refer to my first or second slide, in that I said about we must have to go ahead with the training need analysis. We must have to go ahead with the performance appraisal and performance management and appraisal processes. So like this, after doing or deciding the things, we have to go ahead with the successful hiring. So if we are going for hiring, so already we talked about the required skill set and capabilities for any of the profile. So if we break down all those processes in different steps. So first step, uh, uh, if we talk about the first step, so it is all about the understand your need, for what purpose you are engaging yourself for this particular activities, that is being referred as a hiring process. So understand your hiring need, for what purpose we are doing this hiring, and what are the certain benefits and what are the certain limitations. Create a candidate pipeline. So of course, if we don't have the pipeline, it will be quite difficult to get the right talent or the right candidate. Run effective interview processes and close the candidate. So close the candidate means make the final decisions. So if we talk about all these four processes, it requires a lot of effort from the organization side, and it requires a lot of resources in terms of the money and the time, and the recruiters, those who are their potentials to find out the right candidate for the organizations. And specifically this particular run and effective interview processes will be requiring somebody, those who are very uh, having those who are very versatile in nature. Specifically, they should be having some good years of experience. They should be having good knowledge about the said processes. uh, if we talk about run and effective interview processes, so in all the processes of interview, we are having different round of interview. We can, if you talk about the, I can take some of the example related to the Amazon. So in Amazon, we are having 10 round of interview. So 10 round of interview means each and every round of interview is a rejection round, and till eighth round, eighth or nine, yeah, it is till eighth round, every interview processes or round is a rejection round, right? So in that particular case, uh, even the organizations are utilizing some doing some or utilizing some of the psychometric assessment tools and techniques, and even they are conducting the psychometric assessment in order to find the best candidate, right? Just like we can take the example of R&D. So being a startup, if you are into the R&D processes, so you must have to implement the measurement, so called emotional intelligence measurement. So because if you are in a startup, if you are in the R&D department, so there is a higher chances of failure. So it is quite difficult to survive over there, and it is obviously because of some different reasons. Stress and anxiety, depressions are at very high rate. So in that case, if we are going for recruitment related to R&D process, so in that case we must have to have some psychometric assessment related to the emotional intelligence. Even if we don't have the recruitment psychometric assessment tools related to the emotional intelligence, so even we can impart or we can conduct a psychometric assessment related to the personality test, or even we can utilize different Johari window, or one more tools and technique is there. Johari window is there, and some assessment psychometric tools are there. Emotional intelligence psychometric tools assessments are there, and we have the critical incident techniques that is being utilized by the recruiter to find out the best candidate. So all these are the different tools and techniques that will be leading to some effective interview process or some effective recruitment processes, and ultimately closing the candidate or making the final decisions. And of course, in all the process of effective interview process, there is a significant role of AI. So many times if we are conducting interview online, so many times there is a higher chances of getting candidate engaged in some notorious activities, specifically the cheating activities. So for all those things as well, we have the tools and techniques. We are having some eye tracking tools and techniques that is very much applicable and that is being utilized by different organizations to track the eye movement of the candidate at the time of the interview. Even many academic institutions are utilizing all those tools and techniques when they are doing the interview processes of the MBA students as well, right? So even organizations are utilizing all those tools and techniques. So this is the thing. Moving ahead, so if we talk about the startup leadership vision, so do after few years of that if after few years of time, so leadership visions including elevating HR impact on organization growth and strategies, building a deep bench of change leaders, and creating future ready workforce. So this particular thing is how HR can redefine the leadership bench. So if we talk about this particular theme, so we have what and how type of conditions and reset role expectations, rebuild the pipeline, rewire habits, and remove process hurdles. So reset role expectations includes redefine effective leadership as change leadership, redefine effective leadership as change leadership. So leader realign leader and manager relationship responsibilities to high impact task, and realign leadership and manager responsibilities to high impact task. High impact task means something that requires some kind of perseverance, right? And rebuild the pipeline, put the right people in the right roles to prepare the for the future of the organizations. And next is how it should be done. So encourage future leaders and the managers to self discover if role is right for them. So many times they are giving you the opportunity to take the lead. So even that is the activities that is being done to build the leadership pipeline. Rewire the habits. So build long term habits, not just skills to lead the change. So drive habit building through intentional cues, maintain routines and focused reflections. So of course it is the thing that is very much requiring perseverance, and it is the thing that requires accountability and responsibilities as well. So remove process hurdles, eliminate process that get in the way of change leadership. So equip HR leaders to eliminate low value process that burden leaders, managers, and employees. So remove process that hurdles, eliminate, of course, uh, if some of the processes are creating resistance or some of the processes are creating hurdles. So in that case, we must have to equip HR leaders to eliminate low value processes. We must have to eliminate that particular processes that burdens leaders, managers, and the employees. So reductions or eliminations of that particular or said processes will be having some impact on the overall processes of the organizations. So this is the thing. And already we talked about the strategic for workforce planning. So understand business strategies. If we talk about the strategic workforce planning, so this is the cycle that goes in this particular way. So if we have to understand the business strategies, so we must have to define the value drivers and the capabilities. So what are the organizational values, what are the organizational mission and vision statement, and how your culture is aligned with the organizational processes. All these things would be very much clear from the day one. Significant or segment role by impact on capabilities delivery. So we must have to segment, we must have to justify, we must have to classify the roles based on the capabilities or the skill set. Scan the environment to identify key factors driving future state scenarios. So and the next one is the construct scenarios for the future state of the workforce. And the fifth one is assess the current state of the workforce, define gaps against the future states. And next one is develop action plan to close gaps, monitor progress, and adjust for change. So this is the never ending cycle, or this is the cycle that is very much continuously working or continuous in nature. So if any of the processes of workforce planning processes will be requiring any changes, so once again it will be repeating from the, or once again it will be starting from the previous process or previous steps. So this is the thing. And if we talk about this particular talent, identify talent risk to overcome barriers to readiness. So many times being a startup, we are not able to assess the risk, specifically the talent risk assessment heat map. So this is being referred as a talent risk assessment heat map. Many times we are not able to assess the conditions or the situations or the people, those who are about to live. So all these things would be planned in such a way, so so that it can be so that the risk can be minimized. Just like we have the degree of risk impact and the likelihood of risk occurrence. So if you refer to this talent risk assessment heat map, so three different colors are there. So first one is the green, second one is the red, and third one is the yellowish color. So time frame of risk impact, so long term, if you refer to this particular uh, size of the circle, so we have the long term, medium term, and the short term. So depending on the size of the circle, though, so risk, specifically the kind of risk should be assessed, and current capacity to manage the risk is insufficient if it is having this kind of color. So it indicates insufficient capacity to manage the risk. And if we are indicating with the blue color, so risk number 3, so it means we have the sufficient resources to manage the risk. So if we talk about the color code, so of course red is the most critical one. So high breaches risk appetite should be escalated to board. So we can take any of the example related to the if the CTO, chief talent officer, or chief human resource officer, or the quality control officers is leaving the organization. So in that case, it is the risk that should be considered very high risk, should be escalated to the board. So if people holding that kind of profile or rank, if they are leaving, so eventually or the frequently we must have to report it to the board, because the rate of risk is very high if that particular if some of the persons, those who are holding strategic positions, and they are leaving the organizations. So medium threatening to breach risk appetite escalated to reveal senior management team at the right time. So if somebody, we can consider manager people, senior manager people, or manager people, if they are leaving the organization, so in that case it should be informed to the senior management team at the right time. I'm talking with perspective to the retrenchment, right, or turnover. So low under control managed by HR and the business. So we can take some other risk. If we have if somebody is living, and it will not going to affect in any ways on any of the business processes. So in that case, the risk should be considered as low risk, under control managed by the HR and the business people. So it is not the only risk that should be related to the recruitment or the retrenchment or the turnover risk, but it may be related to any of the business activity risk, and it may happen at any point of time. So but here I considered, I took it from some of the Gartner report 2024, and they explained this particular way with reference to the retrenchment and the turnover. So if you talk about what are the recommended actions to assess the heat this particular talent risk assessment heat map, so first of all we have to assess, then we have to plan, and then we have to execute. So what we have to assess with your C-suite means person with high profile, understand the value drivers of your current business strategies. So if it happens with C-suite, or if it happens with the people, those who are holding with some of the significant profile, so in that case we must have to assess the terms and conditions, the capabilities of your organization's talent, and consider how culture, organization design, and the way employees are compensated shape these capabilities. Then plan segment talent roles by their impact on delivering these capabilities. With your head of talent management, create scenarios for future state of your organizations and identify gaps in the current state. And then we have to execute. With your head of talent management, identify talent risk using the talent risk assessment heat map. And then we have prepare actions plan to mitigate between 3 and 5 of the most critical risk and escalate them to the C-suite and the board. So this is the thing related to the talent uh, risk assessment heat map. And i- if you talk about the nature of the organization, so almost uh, we are, even many of the organizations are there. I will not say it is very much applicable for the startup or medium sized enterprises, but even many of the multinational organizations are there, those who are utilizing this matrix to manage the performance of the employees. Specifically, if we talk about the origin of the matrix, so even it is being given by uh, the CEO of General Electric, Jack Wells. Mr. Jack Wells given this particular talent risk assessment heat map, and it was first implemented with the GE, General Electric. And the purpose of this particular talent risk assessment heat map was to manage the performance of the employees, right? And moving ahead, this is the most important thing. Then we will stop talking about the recruitment and selections, or the thing that is related to the capabilities and the skills. We start talking about the compensations. So, referring to the current situations, so current situations, if we compare the this particular current decade with the previous decade, so there is a huge differences in terms of the demand and the terms of the way we are working, the in terms of the demand and the way we are working in any of the organizations, and in terms of the skill set required for any of the particular positions or particular profile. If we talk about this particular new demand move beyond its traditional scope, so even it is being published with the Gartner report 2024. So new demand move HR beyond its traditional scope. So if we talk about the mostly HR, how who has the experience and outside of the HR. So just try to refer the this particular coding. So first coding is very dark in nature, so it is represented, and it is representing the traditional scope, that is the payroll and compliances. And the second one is the that is little bit what we may refer it as uh, a little bit different from this the corner one. So it is representing uh, initial strategic expansion, that is performance management, leadership development. And the third one is the most significant one and the most dynamic one, that is representing the current scope. So what are the things that is the part of the current scope? So first of all, every organizations are very much, or employees are very much concerned about the mental health and well-being. So mental health and well-being of the whom? So it is the employees. So they are very much concerned about maintaining or they are very much concerned about the mental and health well-being of the employees. So whatever it is related to the human centric employee value propositions, whatever it is. So whatever it is means whatever terms and conditions that is being formulated by the organization, so it must be having some relations to the employees, and it is not impacting in any ways, right? So it will be very much human centric. So if we talk about why it is human centric employee value propositions and from where it is coming, so if we talk about the organizational justice, so we have the three different types of justice. So three different types of justice means we have the procedural justice and distributive justice, and one more justice is being referred as a normative justice. So normative justice, human centric EVP is coming from the normative justice, right? So normative justice talks about whatever it is. So it is related to the normative means the rules and regulations, or the norms and the regulations. So whatever you are formulating, so it will be in terms of the rules and regulations, so it will be formulated in a proper way, and it must be having some better purpose. Just like in other ways, if you talk about the normative justice, so there is one more propositions, it is being written over there. So it is written as you must have to treat human like human, you are not supposed to treat human like animals. So it is coming from the normative justice, right? So whatever rules and regulations you are formulating, it should be very much purpose, it must be having some purpose, and it is not going to impact the employees in any ways. So the third one is the hybrid workforce productivity. So frontline workers flexibility, everybody is very much concerned about the flexibility, so they are uh, uh, concerned about the flexibility. So digital workplace and office work design and the AI augmentation, so all these are the things that is having significant impact, and that is in demand, and we may refer it as the most challenging time for any of the employer. Just give me time. The most challenging time for any of the employers, because it is the thing that is being posed by the, in terms of demand, the things are being posed by the employer itself. So everybody is very much concerned about the work office design, how, what kind of sitting space is there within the organization. They are talking about the flexibility, workplace flexibility, right? It is hybrid work productivities. So this is the thing, and even mental health well-being is very much required. If we talk about some of the requirement in my first slide, I said about if we talk about this particular thing, if you talk about the future workforce planning, those, the sixth point was the what are the current pay level, how do they compare with the market. So this is the most important one. In terms of the other things are there in place, but the second thing that is having significant impact on the overall workforce is the current pay level, what kind of pay the employees are getting, and what are the structure, specifically what are the design of the salary structure, what are the components that is the part of the salary structure. So all these are the things that is very much important for the employees, those who are working for you, for your organization. So salary budget planning practices for startups. So how should we plan our salary budget, and what are the component that we should keep in our salary component. So all these things are very much important for any of the startups. So salary budget planning practices for startups. So earlier there was the conditions where we were concerned about the basic salary structure, but if we talk about the current salary structure, specifically the component that is the part of the current salary budget planning processes or practices, it is quite different, and it is having some significant impact on the overall employee well-being and overall employee well-being, as well as the employee attraction and retention practices within the organizations. If we talk about the pay effectiveness, so it talks about some significant contribution. Specifically, it talks about how should we design our pay policies, pay component or salary component, so that it can be very much attractive to the prospects, right? So it is very much attractive to the prospects, or it is very much attractive to the employer, those who are interested in joining the concerned organizations within, right? And the second point is your pay should be very much effective, so that you must have to it, so that it may be helpful for to the organizations in retaining the existing employees. Many times many of the employees are there, those who are leaving organizations just because of the less attractive pay policies or pay practices. So moving ahead, so there are 6 core objectives that relates to pay program effectiveness for most of the organizations. So if you talk about the different pay program effectiveness, so first one is the, it leads to some kind of employee attractions. Those who are planning to apply for your organizations, if they are referring to the salary structure, so they must be attracted with the component that is being written as a part of the salary structure, right? So this is the first thing that is leading to the pay effectiveness. Second one is driving employee retention. So you should design your variable pay incentives, your monetary or non-monetary incentive in such a way so that employees should be working for you, your organizations, for a longer durations. So we will discuss all these things in detail. Promoting fair compensation among the employees. So already I talked about, if you refer to three different justice, I said about three different justice. First one is the organizational we have the three different organizational justice, three types. So first one is the distributive justice, second one is the procedural justice, and the third one is the normative justice. So in at last I talked about the normative justice. If you refer to this particular thing, I talked about one of the point I talked about related to the normative justice. So if you talk about the justice, so first justice is related to the distributive justice. So even distributive justice talks about the fair compensations. It is having some better linkage with the fair compensations. Whatever incentives that you are distributing, so there should be a fair justifications for the same. It doesn't mean if somebody is working hard and he is not getting his amount, right? So many times you will be finding those who are very close to the leader, so they are getting some extra pay packages, or those who are getting some extra advantage. So all these things should not be like this in terms of the variable pay or in terms of the incentives. When we are distributing the incentives or when we are distributing the variable pay, even some of the things are very much linked with the procedural justice. Procedural justice means whatever rules and regulations that we are imposing, or whatever we rules and regulations that we are formulating or finalizing for the uh, uh, finalizing related to the compensations, so it should be having better transparency, and it should be communicated to the employees in a proper way and at proper time, right? So promoting fair compensation among employees means even it is related to what we may refer it as a uh, many times I will be giving some examples. Many times 4 or 5 people are working together on a particular project, and they are having similar kind of work experience and qualifications. So many times what organizations are doing is they are giving some different salary packages, right, to different employees. So this is the behavioral tendencies. Of course, we all are the human beings, and we are doing some chit chats, and ultimately we are getting information from the other employees what are the salary he or she is getting. So of course this is the behavioral tendencies, and we used to share all those informations, and ultimately it is leading to some unfair justice to the employees, those who are having or getting the lowest salary working for the similar kind of work. So many times all these things are happening in within the organizations, and it is leading to some of the turnover within the organizations as well. So it is better for the organizations to always promote fair compensations among the employees for a particular or said post. So promoting competitive compensations compared to the with employees at other organizations, of course, promotions of competitive compensations means what others organizations are offering to the said post, you must have to offer the similar kind of compensation pay or pay and packages to the employees. Otherwise there will be the war of talent, or war for talent, or even there may be some kind of poaching activities will be there. And the organizations, those who will be offering the highest salary packages, of course the employees, those who are good at so and so thing, they will be leaving your organizations and joining the other organizations, right? So this is the thing. And being a startups, we must have to promote that kind of competitive compensations. We must have to work in that particular directions. And before doing anything, we must have to benchmark the compensations, right, aligning with the business strategies. Of course some of the rules and regulations are being followed, so that whatever you are designing in terms of the variable pay, or whatever you are designing in terms of the incentives, it should be having some impact on the business strategies. So, if I take some of the examples over here, aligning with your compensation or incentives or the variable pay must be aligned with the business strategies. So, I will be quoting one of the example, finest example. I was interacting, or in one of my sessions for executives, I interacted with one of the SDFC senior manager. So he was saying, we were talking about the compensation management. So he said few things related to the stock options. He said few things. ये ठंडा हो गया है. ले जाओ. ये ठंडा हो गया है. ठंडा हो गया ये. So he was saying the procedure of what we may refer it as a procedure of distributing the stock options. So how stock options as well as the procedure of distributing the variable pay within the SDFC bank. So he is working with some of the branches of Bombay, and he said the most important and the significant condition for getting the ESOPs within the SDFC bank is you must have to have at least 3 years of experience within the SDFC, 3 to 4 years of experience within the SDFC. And if you are getting, if they are saying, or if they are giving you 400 or 500 ESOPs, allocating 500 ESOPs on your name, so it doesn't mean you will be getting all 400 ESOPs within the first year. right? So this particular, why it is not getting all the ESOPs in one go. So because it, the distribution of ESOPs is completely dependent on your individual performance. So after every year, in first year you will be getting 25%, and in second year if your rating is more than 8.5 or around 9 out of 10, so in that case you will be getting the next 25 to 30%. And even it is the most interesting thing was the number of ESOPs that is to be distributed or that is to be given to the employees after every year is completely dependent on the performance matrix. So if your performance is falling between 5 to 6%, so you'll be getting 10 ESOPs. If your performance is falling, performance rating is falling between 30 to 40%, you will be getting next 10%. So like this, right? So this is how they are one in one go, or in one hand they are retaining the talent, in one hand, in other hand they are measuring the performance, or they are trying to uh, enhance the performance of the employees. So for getting that particular ESOPs over the years, you must have to work in a proper direction. So you must try to work in a better directions or proper directions, or you must try to achieve the things in a quicker way as well, right? So this is how the organizations are aligning their business strategies. Specifically, the given tasks should be aligned in that particular way. And this particular, even if we talk about some of the motivations theory, so here we have one of the class significant theories, so called uh, vector Vroom's expectancy theory is very much applicable, and every organizations are utilizing that particular vector Vroom's expectancy theory, which includes the uh, expectations, instrumentality, and balance to design their variable pay or incentives in the corporates, right? And even many of the startups, if you take the example of Darwin Box, so Darwin Box is the recent innovation in the area of HR. So it is the platform developed for the HR people. So they are utilizing that particular uh, uh, vector Bloom's theory for designing the incentives for their employees, rewarding employees for current year performance. Of course, this should be there. So moving ahead, how your total reward model should look like. So total reward model is there. So if you talk about the total reward model, so uh, it is it should be look like this in this way. So employers and employer value constitutes the baseline for reward decisions. So what are the philosophy? There are different philosophy, design and delivery, where philosophy, compensation design, and compensation delivery. So all these three different component of compensations leads to total reward. So in total reward, we have the four different further sub classifications. First one is the pay. So what does pay include in terms of the component? So first component is the basic salary and fixed cash allowances. So many times, if you refer to the organizations, specifically the private organizations or the corporates, they are keeping their basic salary on the lower side and giving some cash allowances, right? Basic salary increase, in what way they are giving the increment. Many times I have seen many of the organizations, either it is academics and the corporate as well, they don't give increment in the basic salaries. So it should not be like this. So what percentage of increment are you giving in your in the basic salaries of the employees on annual basis? It should be very much clear at the day one, when the employees are joining the organizations. Short term incentives, specifically it is related to the monetary incentives and the long term incentives. So even short term incentives are there, long term incentives may include the ESOPs, because their waiting period is around 4 to 5 years. So apart from compensations, monetary compensations, some other benefits are there. So we have the healthcare benefits, retirement benefits, risk benefits, paid time off, prerequisites, right? So risk benefits, what are the risk benefit? Any idea? So if we talk about the risk benefits, in case of any deaths, the things will be paid, the said amount will be paid to the survivors, right? those who are there in the family. The third component is the well-being. So well-being includes the integrated well-being solutions, physical, financial, social, emotional, working arrangements. So all these are the things that is the part of the well-being. And ultimately, in terms of the career, so total reward includes the career as well, learning and development. So what kind of training you are going to impart to your employees, coaching, mentoring, sponsorship, career management, and mobility, reskilling. So all these are the things that is very much linked with this particular total reward. Any questions so far? So moving ahead, we have the total reward model. So typical benefits and well-being practices. So we talked about the this particular benefits. So we have the healthcare. So what kind of healthcare facilities are available? So in this particular thing, we have the benefits like surgery, hospitalizations. We are getting, being a government employees, we are getting surgery reimbursement for surgery or hospitalizations, outpatients, maternity, dental, vision, parent coverage. So all these are the healthcare benefits that is being provided to the employees. Retirement, end of services award, enhanced end of services award. So all these are the things that is the part of the retirement benefits. Risk benefits, life insurance, total and permanent disability, accidental death benefits, death or disabilities benefits, well-being employee assistance plan, medical checkups, integrated healthcare programs. Other well-being program includes gym membership. So all these things are the part of the well-being. So if you talk about the prerequisites, children education, vacation home leaves, assistance, length of service award, mobile telephone allowances, employed education training and or professional development. So all these things are there. The most important thing is what are the employee choice. So if we talk about the employee choice, so they given 100% to healthcare and 100% to the retirement. So they want healthcare benefits, retirement benefits, followed by the risk benefits, followed by the well-being, and the third thing is the prerequisites. This is the drivers and barriers to effective compensation and governance. Of course, any of the compensation packages or rules and regulations should be having or must be having better governance. So those who are handling these compensation packages related activities, so they must be having or they should be having some a specific skill set that is very much applicable to the related areas. Executive support are important to effective compensation program governance, right? So organizations with an updated and effective compensation philosophies are more likely to report successfully delivering on their pay programs objective and significantly outperforming their peers. So those who are as organizations, those who are the organizations, those who are very much concerned about the compensation philosophy, specifically the compensation governance, better governance. So they are having better performance and they are meeting the objective significantly, and even they are outperforming the peer organizations. So this is the survey report. And the last slide that I will be discussing over here is the we have been hearing these questions from our clients. So this is the thing that I took it from the Gartner and as a consulting firm. So many of the survey is being conducted by the Gartner, and they pose some of the significant questions that is being applicable for the organizations irrespective of the nature and size. So even the startups can pose this kind of questions. So compensation shows up as the first question is compensation shows up as a top issues in our engagement survey. Where do we start, right? So many times what employees are saying is we are not engaged, we are not concentrating in our organizations, in our work, because we are not getting the fair compensations. So how we should deal with these particular practices or issues? How can we be certain our pay ranges and role profiles will adhere to the new pay transparency law globally? So how do you authenticate, how do you ascertain this kind of situations or terms and conditions, right? Managers are saying pay is not competitive, but market data say otherwise. How do we respond? So even we have to respond to these particular questions. And how do I balance competitive competing priorities related to our pay programs when some part of my organizations are in hiring mode versus others in a cost cutting mode. So many times organizations are taking this kind of decisions. So how do we deal with this kind of situations being a startup? Or we have gone through significant changes in the last several years, but we have not changed pay programs. Where should I start? So other changes are implemented, but there is no update on the compensation front. So we must have to tackle these issues as well. We have been experiencing unexpected turnover at one of our site. What programs should we adjust to improve retention? So many times already I said about many times compensation packages are not competitive in nature. So that even that for that particular reasons as well, turnover is there in the organizations. Or board of directors are becoming increasingly interested in broader employee pay issues. How can we best inform them? So many times all those involvement are there, so we can uh, we can deal with these issues as well. So this is all from my side, sir.
Sir, like if someone want to start a startup and has not a very big amount of investment, so what are the like few only key as a human resource needed for to start that startup? Like if you do not have much of investment, then
Key roles as such, we have you will not be finding any particular definition for these particular questions, which is the most important or significant positions that we should have in the area of HR. But my point is, if somebody is those who are having vast experience in the area of HR and you are having on board that particular people, so it will be the better for you. Because if he is having some experience, some years of experience, so he must be aware with some of the things, either it is related to pay packages, or either it is related to recruitment and selections, or either it is related to formulating policies as well. But at the same time, if you will be having some people those who are very new to the area of expertise, so even it will be quite difficult for him or her to justify things related to framing the rules and regulations, especially the policies, HR policies, or going ahead with the recruitment and selection process. So all these things are very much applicable over there. So it is always good to go ahead with, I will not say it is the CHRO or it is the recruitment specialist, those who are those who should be there with the organizations. But the point is somebody those who have at least 4 5 6 years of experience, if he or she will be there, so he will be justifying the things. This is my perspective, I don't know the others perspective. Because somebody those who will be having vast experience, 15 16 or 17 years of experience, so at the same time he will be asking for higher
higher
salary.
payment, yes, sir.
Yeah, so it is always good to go ahead with people with 6 7 years of experience, not more than that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.